Do you feel under the weather because everybody's talking bad about you or the things that you do? Do you know what makes me feel really good when things like that happen? Coffee brand coffee. Coffee brand coffee gives me the gusto, good stuff, and feel-good dopamine to last 100 crucifixions by people I don't know.
If you would like 5% off your entire coffee or tea order, enter code honeyandabsinthe at checkout at the link down below. That's 5% off your entire coffee order.
Enjoy your coffee, enema babies. This episode is made possible by New Masters Academy, the world's absolute #1 art school in the entire world. Click the link down below for a free 7-day trial. Thank you, New Masters Academy.
I am deep in the annals of your mind. I am deep in the annals of your...
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Vincent, background designer for the Hollywood animation industry.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist turned independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
Now today we're going to talk about how Seth Rogen complains about criticism and how Hollywood can't take the heat.
But before we get into the drama, like, subscribe, jingle, touch all our bells and buttons over there. Please and thank you. Touch my buttons.
Touch her buttons. Make those fingers erect. Subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to the Spotify. Welcome back to another glorious Monday with us, two knuckleheads. We're so glad to see you again. How do they look? Look at them.
Look at
Look, you're
great.
not even looking at them.
You look great. That outfit you're wearing is very nice.
I like what you did with your hair.
It's getting warmer.
I like what you did with your lack of unibrow. It's all very, very good.
You look beautiful.
So, someone in Hollywood is having their having their panties in a bunch, as the saying goes.
Yes.
Who is this person, Janet?
Seth Rogen. Oh, Seth Rogen.
Oh, Seth Rogen. You used to be cool, and now you're a fool. Do you know what this guy said?
What did this guy say?
This guy said, speaking to Stephen Bartlett of the Diary of the CEO podcast, Rogen described negative press coverage as trade-off for success in the film industry, but said that criticism hurts everyone. He said, I think if most critics knew how much it hurts the people that made the things that they are writing about, they would second-guess the way they write these things. And continued to say, it's devastating. I know people who have never recovered from it. Honestly, a year, decades from being hurt by film reviewers. It's very personal. It's something that people carry with them literally their entire lives. And I get why. It sucks. It feels like a very personal rejection, he added. Sounds like being dumped in prom or getting your buddy blown up right in front of you in Vietnam. That kind of distress that he's describing. Yeah. From dorks in the newspapers talking bad about whatever to dorks in their basements talking bad about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yes. The new one, if you haven't seen the trailer, I assume is what Seth Rogen is responding to.
I've seen so many criticisms for the new foray into the Ninja Turtles that are mutants. The criticisms range anywhere from like honest ones like, oh, this is a little too kiddie for me. Mm-hmm. I'm used to the dark black and white noir turtles, or ranging from the kind of thing of like, oh, April O'Neil is a overweight black lady. Why isn't she a hot redhead like usual? Which is sort of like, they got you, they baited you, yes. And you made all the articles. Yes. You made all the articles that help the movie secure its place in the talk of the town. Mm-hmm. Yes. So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing is neither here nor there. Seth Rogen produces good things like The Boys. He produces bad things like everything else. Yes. So we're here to talk about mainly criticism and Hollywood's relationship with criticism.
Yeah, because I can't help but just not feel any semblance of empathy for Seth Rogen.
Zero.
And other directors. Like, don't forget, he's not the only, like, as much as I like to laugh at Seth Rogen in particular, because he's also the guy that goes around on Twitter DMing people going, are you
even Jewish?
Yeah.
Are you even a Jew?
what is wrong with you?
What does that have to do with it?
You go to therapy. He's not the only one who has talked about this as of late in the past decade. James Mangold famously went off on basement dwellers on Twitter.
And YouTube. Complaining about the new Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Whereas in, I remember we were watching the commentary for Logan, and he was so rubbing his nipples about people praising how cool the black and white images are.
Yeah. He was like, oh, because they liked it so much. And it was, like, honestly a trend at the time. Like, Mad Max was doing it too. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, to please the fans
of my art.
Yeah, I put black and white photos of Logan. I'm like, okay, so you like the fans until you hate the fans, and tell me what you really think of the fans, which is your basement dwellers losers is what they think of you. So I couldn't help, especially being in the position that I have had the opportunity to be in the past 3-ish years on the internet. It just feels like people in traditional media don't like the ability for average people to take a big fat shit on them, meaning the entirety of the internet. They don't like that. They want the Hollywood puff pieces. They want the adulation. They want to live in this delusional reality where everyone loves them. And they can't take...
They don't like it when people speak against whatever narrative that, the Vanity Fair, discussing film, Hollywood reporters trying to peddle to the people. And it's starting to get really, I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys can see The Matrix or not, but every time I see some puff piece from Vanity Fair or Hollywood Reporter or any of the aggregates, I go like, you are trying so hard to create hopium that you're not even sure is even there.
Yeah.
And another point is a lot of critics, I think, have gotten soft because they can tell how weak Hollywood is. It was really fun to talk about all of this stuff. In fact, everybody came up during the time, talking about this stuff during the time where, the first Avengers came out, when things were really, really hot. And now things aren't so hot. And now things like Marvel isn't as hot anymore. And it's really interesting to see how people who I know, like, come on, we know, critics know what a good movie is. Mm-hmm. And then when they kind of like go soft on a movie, like, oh yeah, it's okay. It's kind of like a pretty neat, but different, quirky new entry into the franchise. And I'm like, fuck you, man. I know you didn't really like this movie. You didn't really like this movie. Don't lie.
There are many movies we have watched recently that we honestly are not bad movies. They're just mid. They're just not
super mid,
all that exciting. And we intended to do a lot of movie reviews in the past few weeks that we just didn't feel like it after watching the movie, because we were like, there's nothing to say. It's like a C or B- movie. Like, I'd rather just not talk about it.
It's worth talking about a movie even when it's bad.
Yes.
When it's great, it's great. It's like, poop that comes out of the colon really easily. But then when it's a mid movie, a movie where you just go meh, like we tried to watch Cocaine Bear with every intention to make a review. So same thing with Creed, very meh movies.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, and I feel a little gaslit by critics that I know better. That like you will not gaslight me to convince me that it's like an A+ movie. It's like a B at most. And I'm just like why are you doing this? Audiences aren't, they want what they want and they don't want what they don't want. Like you can't, there's no amount of puff pieces or your criticism that is going easy on it because you feel bad or whatever, for whatever reason, that's going to convince people to like watch the next installment of this franchise movie.
Okay, let's go through a speed run real quick of all the movies we've seen, which were all mid. Well, there were 5 movies. One of them wasn't mid. One of them made me feel like a kid again. So let's start with Cocaine Bear. What you think of Cocaine Bear?
Cool premise, let me down. It's a mid movie.
Not enough Cocaine Bear.
Not enough bear.
Not enough bear. You promised me this amazing premise of a cocaine rabid Cujo bear, and I barely get any bear. Not enough bear.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you think of Creed 3?
Great first directorial debut from Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay, I said it right. Okay. I'm freaking out. But I thought the story was really lackluster and very forgettable. I don't really want another one.
Grade the first Creed by Ryan Coogler.
A.
I agree. I agree exactly. Grade Creed 2.
C.
I give it a B-. And then grade Creed 3.
C.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second here. So here's my problem. First of all, Creed 1 is amazing. Directed by Ryan Coogler, who went off and abandoned the franchise for Black Panther. But boy, was that what I adored about Creed was it was incredible fan service and paid incredible homage to the legacy of Rocky. I forced you to watch every Rocky except for Rocky 5 because no one talks about Rocky 5. They even kind of retcon Rocky 5. And how did you feel watching the Rocky franchise?
A lot of emotion and hype and love for a new franchise. A franchise new to me.
Yes. And a very, very lovable character, which is Rocky Balboa.
Yes.
We even watched Rocky Balboa. So when I took you to see Creed 3, you were like weeping. You know, Rocky's going through cancer. About to die. The biggest fight of his life, and training his best friend's son, you know, his frenemy son. Amazing work. And with Creed 2, I was really hyped because I knew they would go there, that it would be a direct reflection of Rocky 4, where Drago would come back, you know, and this time Drago's with his kid, and then Rocky is with Creed's son, Adonis Creed, and they're hashing it out for basically a revenge grudge match, you know, super sick. Problem with that movie, not as well directed and stylish as Coogler's attempt, or even Michael B. Jordan's sequel. So when I was going into Creed 3, watching the trailer, I already felt shades of Rocky 3 with the new guy, Jonathan Majors. It reminds me of Clubber Lang, Mr. T, in Rocky 3, but instead of like this random guy coming, it's some guy from Donnie's past. And I was like, okay, this could be kind of cool. And I was even like super hyping it up. And I was even telling you, like, you know, in the great tradition of Rocky 3, which is my favorite Rocky, you're gonna have the frenemy train, you know, the main character. So I was hoping Drago's kid would train Michael B. Jordan. Spoiler alert. He kind of does.
Not really.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely. It's not like, you know, Apollo Creed yelling at Rocky, come on, Rock, as Rock can't fucking swim. He can't, you know, do the little jig that Creed likes to do. Oh my God, that was such a great sequence. But like with Michael B. Jordan's Creed 3 is the opposite of Creed 2. Whereas in like, it had all the style, the flair, the pizzazz, but the story and the fan service stuff, the sort of the homage to the legacy of this great franchise, missing completely. I don't see it. And if you're, I hear you. Like, oh, you know, Michael B. Jordan's trying to make Creed into his own guy. He's trying to make Donnie into his own guy. I'm like, Donnie is done. We can't make any more movies about Adonis. We cannot.
He's not that great of a character.
He's not that great of a character. In fact, like, it's perfect that like Rocky's, you know, kind of easygoing, lackadaisical almost fatherly attitude at this point fits with the first two movies where Adonis is sort of like hot-headed, can fly off the handle. A little bit like his dad, but not nearly as charming, which is my gripe about Creed's kid, is that he's like just has all the hot-headedness, but none of the charm and the charisma and like just the, you know, just the stuff that his dad had. And it really shows because in Creed 3, they did the thing where I needed Adonis to go, which is I needed him to be a more mature character. For the first two movies, he was kind of the same. This hot-headed, bratty, chip on his shoulder kid. And finally, in the third movie, he's more of like a man. He's a father now. He reminds me of Rocky in Rocky 3, where he's sort of had his success. Same parallel in Rocky 3, he's basically given up boxing. But when you strip away what made Adonis in the first two movies, which is his hot-headed attitude, and you make him more mature, then all of a sudden he's not really an interesting character anymore.
he's so bland compared to Rocky. Like I don't know if it's the story or if it's Michael B. Jordan's acting or whatever, but I just feel like he's just kind of boring. Like, I love watching Stallone be Rocky. It was even nice to see him for like a little bit in Creed 2, and like Creed 2 I thought had an interesting story, so maybe I can revise my score. Creed 2 I would say is like a B-.
Yeah, man.
The problem I have with it is that Drago's son is a more interesting character than Adonis.
Yeah, man.
And then
that whole thing where his mom comes back, and then like, was it Drago Senior's like, I can finally be a Russian. I can but then you know, Junior Drago's like, but I'm Ukrainian. They abandon us. like they're not our family. And then the whole thing with Creed Drago Senior throwing him the towel, which is what, you know, nice little nod to Rocky oh, so good. So good. Then, oh my goodness.
But with Creed 3, like I really Michael B. Jordan's directing really surprised me. I was like, wow, if this is your first time directing, that's pretty cool, what you were able to do. But like the story was just so I just did not care for a Rocky franchise movie. It did not make me swell in like during the fights. And
the training montage is everything to me. Like, it's like training montage is more important than the fights. And the training montage in I was hoping they would like parallel Rocky 4, where like we would take Creed into the mountains, but I guess that was too expected, so he went to the desert for some strange reason, and I thought it was really. Wait, no, that was Rocky 2.
He climbed
Creed 2. He climbed the Hollywood sign, kind of mimicking the feels that you would get Rocky climbing up the stairs, but it just doesn't work that way. And like one of my biggest gripes too is the music. Yeah. It's like we need some orchestrate Bill Conti's-esque music, and like if my problem is like the pitch is we're gonna make Adonis into like the new Rocky. My gripe is he doesn't have the music theme for him that makes me go like, holy crap, this is like the new guy I want to like follow. The training is a little lackluster and not exciting to watch, because it's sort of the most special part about it is him sort of kind of recollecting all of his past injuries, I guess, but then he kind of overcomes it and it's fine for him.
It's not as emotional. Like, you feel something when Rocky is running down the streets and all the children are chasing him, and then
he's chasing the chicken.
He's like climbing up the stairs and
he's beating the meat.
Yeah, like it you feel like you're on this journey with him, and you feel a little bit like the children chasing after him. Mm-hmm. But then when you're just following Michael B. Jordan up the Hollywood side, it's just nothing. And then there's the music. It's like kind of awful.
Kind of dated.
Yeah, to have auto-tuned hip-hop music, and not even like good hip-hop music, just like basic hip-hop music, to go with Adonis feels a little like an afterthought. And then like to not pay respects to their franchise and have I don't know, use the theme, the Rocky theme,
or at least invent a new theme that
for
kind of
him,
parallels Adonis
Yeah.
in some way. I was thinking like how cool it would be to have marching band.
Yeah.
And just like lots of percussion, just something, anything, and then some brass. Oh my god! In my head, it would sound so cool. Then the default hip hop stuff, which you hear in like something like Black Panther and all that stuff too. So it's kind of just overplayed at this point.
Yeah.
So that's Creed 3. It made me go like, they killed off James Bond. There's no more Rocky in Creed, and Creed can't hold his own. And I keep thinking like MGM like has like they're killing all of my favorite franchises, and there's nothing left for me anymore, and it makes me feel really sad.
I mean, at the end of Creed 3, I was like, I don't know where this thing can go. Like, he conquered all his demons.
And he's done.
Yeah. So, like, what? Is there going to be a Creed 4? Like, how? I don't really want it. And, like, a lot of people, I saw other people's reviews, and they, like, were really raving about it.
Not really,
but not
though.
really, yeah.
You know,
it
they're
felt
like
fake.
it felt like, oh yeah, it's like a conciliatory pat in the back. Good job, Michael B. Jordan.
Almost
there's no
patronizing.
Rocky. There's no like Bill Conti. There's no like big music or a big like cheering moments, but. That is a pretty good job, I guess, for your first time directing.
Yeah.
That's not kind of what I would want, I guess. Like, I kind of would want to, like, feel like Stallone making Rocky 3. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which he did direct.
Yeah.
So, then we watched Adam Driver's 65, which is, like, hilariously similar to our opinions of Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Where we have a very strong premise that gets squandered under the boot of kind of formulaic video gamey like storytelling.
Yeah, not enough dinosaurs.
Not enough dinosaurs. Not enough Cocaine Bear. Not enough dinosaurs. And then when you do see the Cocaine Bear or you do see the dinosaur, guess what? It's fucking dark. It's nighttime and I can't see shit.
Or just CG, so it's expensive and they can't be on screen for too long or something.
So what would you give 65?
A C.
I give it a C too. Same as Cocaine Bear. And then Scream 6. Mm-hmm. I give a B minus.
Yeah, I give it like a B.
I really like last year's Scream.
5?
Scream 5. I think that was the first time I've seen Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
And a whole year later, she's like a juggernaut. She's kind of cool. I like... what I adore about that franchise is just the kind of, you know, fourth wall breaking kind of, what is it, meta conversations about movies.
What I liked about Scream 6 is that it did what Creed 3 didn't really do. It gave us a lot of fan service stuff. It felt
almost a little too much.
Yeah, but like it did the thing that I wanted. That like when you do a franchise movie, you do have to pay your respects to it sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I felt like it did it well. And it's a fine movie. It's just not, in my opinion, very memorable. Especially when, like, the first thing I thought coming out of the movie was like, oh, I like the last one better.
Yeah.
I like the last one's kills better. I like the acting
so much
better.
more
I like the story better. Like, yeah, it was just better. So, yeah, I just kind of was like, I don't really want to review it either. Because I just feel like, fine. It's fine. It's not bad. It's just okay, yeah. And then I watched Demon Slayer.
What did you think about Demon Slayer?
I really like Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer, it's not even a movie.
Yeah.
The episodic thingy in theaters right now is, to me, the most exciting time I've had in the theaters. And certainly the most exciting time I've had in the theaters watching an animated whatever since the first one, since Mugen Train.
What I thought was really nice watching Demon Slayer in theaters was the audience. It was the first time in a really, really long time the audience actually gave a shit in the theaters.
They would cheer, they would laugh, they would gasp.
Yeah.
You know?
It felt like this is why that's why we go to the theater, to have this communal watching experience. especially on like opening night or opening weekend. You want that with people. And I haven't felt like every movie in the past year we went to watch, I never felt that. No one was like gasping or reacting to the screen or just cheering or just generally really enthusiastic. They were respectfully watching for the most part and just kind of like, just, I can feel the like sigh when they walk out the theater. The sigh of like, oh well, that was a thing I watched.
Almost like I'm glad that's over.
Yeah. That's usually most people's response to movies these days. And I was like, wow, how is it that anime, and not even like a movie, this is like some event where people just watch
4 episodes in a row, basically.
Together. And we're having more of a good time than watching any of the other movies.
Right. And funny, too, that the trailers before the movie was, I think, Guardians of the Galaxy, Shazam, Into the Spider-Verse, and the new entry from the Your Name guy.
Yeah,
and
Makoto Shinkai.
Makoto Shinkai. The most exciting trailer that gave me the feels, that made my heart swell up, was that trailer.
Yeah. I think it's called Suzune or something like that. And I was like, oh my god, we were watching that movie when it comes out. I was like, how is it that the Guardians trailer and all the other Dungeons and Dragons trailer, whatever, doesn't make me feel anything, but then this stupid anime movie makes me feel so many things. That just goes to show you Hollywood is failing.
Yes, Hollywood animation industry is in the gutter.
Yeah.
What would you give the Demon Slayer event if you were to grade it?
Like a B+.
I give it a B+.
Yeah.
Give Mugen Train an A-.
Yes.
But this was still just a very thrilling, visceral, just like awesome thing to watch in the movie theater. And if I haven't felt this communal feeling with other people watching a movie like this since, like, I don't know, early days of, since, like, the first Star Wars, what was it? Force Awakens, that type of stuff where people go like, oh my god, BB-8 is so cool. Like when what's his face gets stabbed in the chin.
Oh, yeah.
Like the audience just audibly went
yeah,
so cool.
I always I can't believe anime goes there sometimes. And then
that anime in particular.
Yeah, but like I watching it again, I was like, oh yes, this is why I like anime. And I go like, man, American animation needs to step up their game, man. You never go all the fucking way.
Go all the way. Go all the way, or anime will do it for you, man.
Yeah.
So that is our feeling about the temperature of Hollywood right now. But like outside of our opinions, and honestly, the lukewarm audience reception. Like, for example, we were sitting next to at least 6 or 7 annoying ass fucking Gen Z people with Creed, watching Creed, and they just couldn't sit still. They kept checking their fucking phones. They didn't give a shit. They didn't clap. They just begrudgingly went up and took forever to leave because it's like they got up and they didn't realize they're in a movie theater and they were confused or something. But when we watched Demon Slayer, which was again full of fucking annoying ass Gen Z,
it was some of the same kids.
They were silent. They were silent, and they were fucking enjoying the movie, man. So I just do not believe any of you in the Hollywood press cockroach media that you believe these movies are actually good. I think Hollywood is fucking weak, and I think you're doing your best to keep the machine alive when everybody knows it's shit right now. Honestly, sadly, top 3 movies of the year: number 1, Megan; number 2, Demon Slayer; number 3, Scream 6.
But like barely. So yeah, like, I think all this comes back to people like Seth Rogen. Because I appreciate that he's saying the quiet part out loud, because this is what every producer, director, whatever, they feel such disdain for people who shit on them because they think they're better than you. But at the same time, it's not like they want you to disappear. They don't want the critics to disappear because they love it when you're like sucking their dick. They love it when you're like validating their entire existence and going like, oh my god, The Boys was amazing. Or like this, imagine if he wasn't getting this hate, criticism over the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer. He'd be singing the
like, I love the fans. The fans are so great.
I do everything for the fans.
I'm so appreciative of the fans.
They make my ability to make movies a thing. So to me, what's really upsetting is like, this is most people who make movies, most people in entertainment. They're not really making movies because they would be doing it whether they were getting paid to do it or not.
Not just the Seth Rogen types, you're talking about also the people Seth Rogen mentioned who actually make the movies that they call the little people.
Yes, you're talking
like,
about
bottom
everyone.
to top.
Yes, everyone. The hundreds and thousands of people who work on these movies are not making movies because they would be doing it whether they were getting paid for it or not. They're doing it because it's a job. They're doing it for validation if they're high enough on the totem pole to be seen like Seth Rogen is. I think some of them might be like, if some of you are working in it and are listening to this, like, no, you're wrong, I do it because I love it. And well, okay, you're like the 10% who do. The 90% of everyone are frustrated, annoyed, and
trying to save up for a house, trying to save up for their family, trying to pay off those student loans.
You haven't cared actually about the art and the craft of the thing for a very long time, because I was there. Like, when I felt that way, I knew it was time to leave. I was like, there's no way, if I no longer have student loans and I have no longer any obligation to be here out of my own free will, and I don't feel the love for it like I used to when I was in my early 20s, why am I here? Because I would rather be doing my own thing. And that's everyone. That's like 90% of people would rather be doing their own personal project right now if they could. But they can't because, financial obligations or whatever. So they're like, this is my fucking job. I'm going to put the bare minimum, the bare absolute minimum into my job, which is exactly what we're getting mid-movies. Mm-hmm. Because they're not going to do so little that they're going to get fired. They're not trying to like make something bad necessarily.
Yeah, don't forget, these people are so talented. They can put in what's considered by their higher ups or their superiors as, oh, that's really good. But then at the same time, they're making their own personal projects, getting them done on Kickstarter, showing them off on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Like, you think we're fucking lying. But think about everybody in animation who has their own project aside from whatever they're working on full time. Yeah, that's what they actually want to do. That's what they would die for. Mm-hmm. It's not the Hollywood shit. It's that shit,
Yeah, so that's why, I think Seth Rogen is, representative of everyone in entertainment who is making mid shit because they genuinely, they might think they care, but they don't really. But I also think it's not fair. I think this is just representative of everyone, period. Like, this is the representative of our times. I think everyone is feeling this way about their job, that they don't feel appreciated. They feel frustrated. They feel like they're not being paid enough. They feel like they can't contribute to anything.
They feel like time's running out and they really want to do the other thing that they actually really want to do.
Yeah, and so everyone's burnt out, jaded, but you were kind of still forced to be in the job that you currently have, so because of whatever reason, and then you're like, well, okay, I'll just put in I'll quiet quit. Everyone's quiet quitting, and Hollywood is just prime example of it because we're just getting a bunch of quiet quitting type movies. Like, it's just a bunch of quiet quitters who haven't quit pumping out mid shit. It's just that's what it is.
To pay the bills, so in their free time they get to do the thing they actually want to do.
Yes. And I find that sad because these movies, I feel like, for example, like 65 and Cocaine Bear had the potential to be really, really amazing movies. Like, I was rooting for these movies. Because I'm so done with franchise movies. I hate, like, Scream 6 puts it really well. The rules of when you make a franchise movie, what needs to be in it. And I kind of hate that I expect these things. in order for those type of movies to
That
be
it's so
good.
formulaic.
Yeah.
You know,
But like, because
there's no spontaneity. When the only spontaneity that could come is from like a first maybe beginning of a franchise type thing.
yeah,
Like
a new
Megan.
IP, like Megan, like Cocaine Bear, like 65. But unfortunately, Megan did it well, but movies like 65 and Cocaine Bear, they, for whatever reason, all these new, every movie these days is all about family. And I go like, why is everyone fucking doing the Disney thing? Like, it's really annoying when like the movie has nothing to do with being like, what does Cocaine Bear have anything to do with a family? Why are you forcing family themes into it? Or like 65, I just wanted dinosaurs. Just give me dinosaurs. What is wrong with you? Why didn't you give me enough dinosaurs? And instead it's about family again. And I was just like, somehow someone in Hollywood, some producer, some big time exec wanted every movie to be about family because it's formulaically, it like hits people, like it's a movie with a lot of heart. So it has to, like, we have to pump these movies out like a factory. So let's have it like on an assembly line, essentially, with this part, and this part. One of the parts is usually it has to be about family. The next part, it has to have a strong female lead. The next part, it has to be, if it doesn't have a strong female lead, then it has to have like a really, really important strong female lead, but like a male character that like basically is just to serve the female lead. And it's so, I can predict the storyline of every single movie that I am about to watch, and it upsets me because it's so formulaic, and it's so like, I can almost see the inner workings, the gears going in someone's mind at work who barely cares. And it's like, oh, just put that and that together, and like, yeah, make it. And we're done, you know? And I just feel like this, of course, this is going to result in mid-movies. And of course, this Hollywood is going to have to work overtime to pump out puff pieces after puff piece to promote these mid-movies.
Oh, it's so great. This movie's inspired by anime. See, Michael B. Jordan watched his anime, so you should watch this movie. It got me. It got me.
You were so excited for Creed.
I was like, Michael B. Jordan's putting some anime mise-en-scène in that bullshit. It's gonna be so great, and it was just so, oh my god, not what I wanted. It was like, I could see some of the stuff that he was trying to do, especially in the climax, but which was kind of cool. But then, you know, the rest of it was just like, there's no context for any of this stuff. This is nonsense. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Buddy from my past trying to screw me over, and then they fight about it, and then they fucking talk about it at the end. They talk it through, which makes me feel like, oh, what? So you had to like fight so you could talk it through? Ridiculous.
I'm wondering now that like puff pieces work up until a point. So like, it worked on you, and it seemed to have worked on a lot of people, because a lot of people did go out and see Creed on opening weekend. But the problem is, audiences like and don't like whatever, that like they have a mind of their own. So like, sure, you can like hype up a movie as much as you want on opening weekend, but the legs is, I'm starting to realize, is what matters the most here.
Yeah.
Because seeing the numbers for the first Rocky, and I think Rocky 3, and some other ones on Dan's Charts with Dan's video.
Those movies had legs, man.
Yeah, they
maybe
might,
not the biggest opening, but
they
longevity.
They made a huge impact, the same way like Megan did. And I feel like, unfortunately here, Creed 3 might be the opposite, where like it has like a huge opening weekend, but then like people are gonna go see Scream this weekend. Like,
yeah, dude. Like, I think I saw a Hollywood Reporter projecting 30 million or so for Scream, and I'm like, no way, man, no way.
Yeah,
we'll see. But like,
Jenna Ortega,
and like, it's such a Zoomer franchise. Yeah. We'll see.
So And I also feel like you can only gaslight people for something.
So
Are you going to fall for that bullshit again?
No way.
Exactly.
No fucking way.
How many times can you do that?
It's the last time. Next time I see a Variety article that like Steven Spielberg watched Naruto.
Put some
Naruto in his new Steven Spielberg movie about Steven Spielberg. I'm like, no, I'm not falling for it.
So what do you think movies then, like Megan, do right compared to the movies that we thought were just mid and were just formulaic?
I think Megan basically subverted the family trope that we were griping about. What if you just don't want to have a family? What if you are not prepared to have a family? What if you'd rather work in your office job and you care about that more than children? And that is so much more memorable to me than literally every movie, paint by numbers, the Disneyification of movies that just have to do with family. For example, RRR is a movie about friendship.
Yes.
And like, to me, that seems so fresh when every movie is about family. Suddenly, when you have a movie about two friends who have so much not in common, but like just join together and come together for whatever reason, is so much more fresh than literally, I lost my child, here is a new child, let's make a new family. Oh no, my child has been lost in the woods and there's a cocaine bear, I need to reunite with my family. I'm so sick of that shit.
And the cocaine bear has
And
babies.
the cocaine bear has her own family. Spoiler, it's a she, and she's only trying to protect her kids who are also addicted to cocaine. And I was just like, oh, like, like, there's so many more themes to explore than just family.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like it's because these people have shitty family lives that they make these movies about wish fulfillment with family.
But I'm also like, but they're not saying anything particularly interesting about family.
What they're saying is like they want a family. Every one of these movies is saying, I want a family.
I think they have no idea what to say about family, so they just say the like paint by numbers thing of what they're supposed to say about family. Because they don't have families.
Yeah.
They don't see their families. Come on. Yeah, I think...
But even like Top Gun, which is like a little bit about family, more like friendship and mentorship.
Yeah.
You know? That's such a cool, fresh fucking like, sweet, man.
It's definitely
And then like
about
when I watch
mentorship.
Avatar, I'm just like, oh no! Not this again! Not the family bullshit again! No! Make it stop! Friendship's important too. Don't you think?
There are a lot of universal life tropes that don't revolve
Like
around family.
Death, like living,
Yes.
and death, and Ikaru, all that shit. There's so much more to explore. And then when DreamWorks makes a Puss in Boots movie about death, it's actually about
Family.
family. Make it stop. And I can only guess what this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is going to be about.
Family.
Family! We're a family of mutant turtles with our rat mentor, Jesus Christ, it's our daddy. Make it stop. We're in like a perpetual loop of just the same bullshit over and over and over again.
I think what I really appreciate about lower budget movies like Megan, but like clearly you get something like Cocaine Bear and it still might not work. But like if the stakes are low enough, or maybe it's the work environment that is conducive enough somehow magically, people seem like they are allowed to contribute creatively. Because if I think about what put me in that state of ambivalence about my job and giving the bare minimum, enough to get by, but like, you know, not anything special or unique or whatever, it's that I, as a creative person, you took away all my agency. You took away any desire to... You made it so difficult for me to contribute creatively that I didn't want to anymore. I'd rather just do it for myself in my own time with my own personal projects. And sometimes when in a really bad work environment, when you do try to contribute creatively, you get punished for it. Someone else steals your idea, or they think you're trying to show the boss up, or they get threatened somehow, or they just don't take it. You get rejected enough times, you go like, fuck it. I'm just a cog in a machine then. I'm just a gear, which is fine. You're paying me, so you'll be paid to be a gear. I'm not gonna, like, even though I got paid hundreds and thousands of dollars to be trained to be here, and you really could be utilizing my brain a lot more to like give you some creative things that maybe you don't have to be the only one coming up with everything, or maybe maybe you can inspire me to want to work hard for you. Like I want to, like I think a lot of employees genuinely do want to work hard for them, especially when it's a job that, like a dream job or something that they love doing to begin with. But like when you tie people's hands like that, I think that's what you get mid-movies. And like when you let people be creative and be daring and
For example, like what?
Like I really believe
Like we were talking about a movie recently that they said that this happened to.
Recently, John Wick 3 had like a
4.
4?
We're in 4.
Yeah, had a featurette thing, I think, in theaters.
With Perry Nemiroff. I've been watching her since her Collider days, man.
And even though this is like a bigger franchise movie, I think this work environment is possible in all sizes of productions. So I do think it's more possible in lower budget, lower stakes type movies. But all work environments have the potential also to be toxic. But they said that there were some stunt scenes in the new John Wick movie that were added last minute, but they had suddenly struck with inspiration to do certain things, and then they went and did it, and it ended up in the movie. And I go like, well, look at that. Keanu Reeves, famous for being very kind, like
very open with his time,
yeah,
and energy,
and thankful. He like buys his crew like crazy stuff, like nice watches and stuff. Like he just spends all his money on the people who work for him. They felt like they could contribute creatively, and they felt open enough to be like, hey, I have this idea for like a cool stunt scene, can we film it, and I have an idea for this, can we do it? And like it says a lot about a production that allows something like that to happen. It says a lot when someone if you're not allowed to do that, you're not going to say anything about it. People are just going to they're not going to complain to you. They want to keep their job. They're going to be like, yes, you are right. I love you. Everything you say is like, they're not. That's Hollywood for you. But like when you are in a really creative work environment, in a place where people really love their work and they want to be a part of something bigger, greater, people have agency. They feel like they can contribute to the project and do things you otherwise wouldn't have thought of yourself. And that's what I dreamt of when I wanted to work in Hollywood. Sadly, that happens like 1% of the time. Like, to be so lucky to get into a crew or a production that isn't toxic, where you are actually allowed to say stuff like, oh, I don't think this is good, or maybe like let's try this or whatever. Rarely is that kind of teamwork, family environment actually a thing. And I think that says a lot that was my experience working in Hollywood, and I don't think it's changed. I don't think it was like that before, honestly, because I feel like when you make good movies, I think that's a requirement. I do think a good, not necessarily good in terms of like like good work hours, you don't like burn the midnight. I'm talking about good as in like you feel like you're not afraid to fucking do your job and do it well. Because if, like, we creative people are kind of weird in that, like, if you incentivize us enough, we will give you our entire fucking life. We don't care. We don't have limits. We don't have boundaries. So yeah, I think that's what movies should do, and I think that's what would make more movies, better movies, in the long term. But I really doubt that's gonna happen.
If Seth Rogen, who's looking more and more like Harvey Weinstein by the day, if Seth Rogen were right in front of us, what would you say about his comments about people who write about movies and feeling blue balls and things like that?
I would say Seth Rogen of yore would call Seth Rogen today a little fucking bitch. I just go like, dude, you used to be like a cool dude who like didn't care, who came from nothing with your little crew from Canada, and you made it. And I know you loved this at one point, but now, like, look at you. Hollywood's made you soft.
Made you soft.
Made you really soft. And now you're just, like, crying about criticism. Like, oh, it's ruined some people's lives. Speak for yourself. You ruined your life. And, like, and then he proceeds to talk about, like, you know, on the interview, it really hurt. I go, like, this is the internet. Get over it. Like, this, like, everyone gets hate, period. If you're gonna be a celebrity, if you're even gonna be someone like me on the internet, like, you get hate. Like, cry to your therapist and then show up for an interview and shut up. Like, God, I don't like that.
But certainly, when we sing praises about The Boys, he's like, oh, yes. Yes, it's so good. Thank you. I paid for that. Sure. So, Chan, what are we recommending?
We're recommending you watch the new
season. It's probably going to be better than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
The new season of Demon Slayer. If you don't catch it in theaters, it's coming out soon on Crunchyroll, I think. Yes, watch Demon Slayer. It is amazing. If you like, subscribe, jingle all our bells and buttons, check out all our other episodes over here, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.